Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Now I know I haven't made a video for about 2 months now. I've actually been quite busy with work related stuff and just doing some learning and whatnot. But I thought, why not make a video on what I do? As well, what I've been doing on like my current project. I won't be showing you my actual project code or anything like that, or like what I'm actually doing for them, but I can just give you an idea on the work I'm doing, because I think it'd be quite cool to explain to people who aren't exactly in the engineering role, in the cloud engineering role, or in the cloud space, but they're looking to transition in on kind of just what I'm up to on a specific project and what that looks like. So that's what I'm going to do. So, let's just look at what I'm looking at here, and then I'll explain more in detail to bring everything in. So what we're doing at the moment is a lot of infrastructure as code. A lot of the work we do now is infrastructure as code for good reason, and I'll go into that in a second. And what that means is that we're writing up specifically for my projects is Terraform, which is just a infrastructure as code language. There's many other things out there that you can use. You can use native cloud things like CloudFormation for AWS, what is it, ARM or Bicep for Azure, and then there's like Cloud Run or Cloud Build for Google Cloud. And then you've got the agnostic ones like Terraform and I think like Pulumi and stuff like that. I haven't used it, so I can't speak to that. But there's other languages out there, and all I'm getting at is everything's kind of going infrastructure as code. Well, everything is infrastructure as code now. Should be, and again, that's for very good reason. So typically things were kind of done, and you're probably seeing this if you've been reading up and learning on the cloud space, is that you would log into a Azure environment or AWS environment or whatever, log in, and you would create things, right? Click, 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 and that's called ClickOps. So you'd spin up a VM, you'd click, fill in all your things you need to, and you have a VM. You do your networking. Well, networking would probably come first, but you know what I mean. And then you spin everything up to create whatever you're creating for your project or your solution that you're building. Now, in a real life project and for a client and stuff like that, there's a lot more detail to it, and you might start to feel why we go infrastructure as code in a sec when I start explaining this. Is that typically when you are building, say, an application, you have like a testing environment, right, where you build your application, you test it, confirm it works, you have everyone on board who reviews what you're building, goes into like a non-production, you start to have people testing it, playing with it, using it. Then you move it to production once everyone's all okay. Now, I just condensed maybe a year's worth of work or longer into a very short time frame, but typically that stuff takes a long time, and then you build it out. Now, that's how we're going with creating resources in the cloud now, engineering in the engineering space. So when we're creating VMs, we're creating networking, resource groups, identity, security, all of that stuff is now, we're typically managing that by infrastructure as code. And that's why I'm in the Azure DevOps space at the moment, is that we are building full Azure tenants now, all via infrastructure as code. We're spinning up, like I said, the resource groups, the identity, everything we need that an architect has designed for a solution, we are building via code. And then, and again, you probably now understand why, if let's say we build up a full environment for the architect that I've drawn up for the solution, and we've designed it in test, and we've had security across the operations approving how they're going to manage it over handover and get them across it at the very start. This doesn't happen very often. It normally happens halfway through the project and we have to change things, but anyway, we get that and we build that in test. And now everything's code, and we've had it all reviewed, and everyone's approved it. We can now deploy all of that engineering work into the next environment. And what took months to build, or maybe a year to build, in the testing space, depending on how big the solution is, all that code that we worked and developed on can get deployed to the new environment like in an hour, right? Because now we're just running the code that we approved, maybe change a few variables, and we just let a pipeline run. So a pipeline looks like, I'm not going to go into great detail about all these pipeline stuff. I just want to give you a heads up on the current space and how things are working. We'll run a pipeline that looks like this. And now it's in the next environment. People go in, test things, do their thing. Cool, looks good in this environment. However long time frame passes. Now, okay, I think we're ready for go live. You know, let's start deploying this in production. Let's get some live data in this. Let's start actually testing this thing. Again, any changes we had to do, adding code, whatever, cool. That's all now handled via code and treated like as if it was app development. We do branches, feature branches, code reviews, all of that to get all the changes in, get it ready, and we just redeploy it all via code. And it's gone through all that testing, reviewing, like peer reviewing, morning standouts, people talking about all of your changes. It's all been tracked and all been reviewed. Then we get it ready again and deploy it. And we're very much in line with how app development works. So we're really much on the same front as with them. And it's just a seamless and a quicker way for us to get things done. And this is really the space of the cloud engineering space now. The ClickOps is still a thing. Don't get me wrong, you still have to go on there and you still have to click and create things because not everything can be stood up via infrastructure as code. You need to configure things, test things, bring it back to code, whatever. Yes, 100%. Those two, ClickOps and infrastructure as code, are still in tandem. But it's just understanding when to use one over the other. And that's the main thing, is that if you're finding yourself repeating yourself all the time, again with multiple environments and stuff, code that. Get it ready, get it in pipelines, and just deploy that stuff real quick. So you can fail faster with code, find out what you need to fix, and just keep redeploying. If you're trying to do that ClickOps, that stuff's going to just take forever. So that's why we've moved away from that. But yeah, that's kind of the space of where we're at. What I'm thinking of is making some videos about like creating pipelines in Azure, repos, how like the branching and stuff works. But again, you can probably just find branching strategies on anywhere. But if you're looking for like real life examples of stuff we're doing, I'm more than happy to share that. Again, this isn't client specific or like anything specific to how the company I work for does stuff. It's just general best practice information that's out there on the internet on how to do these things. So I'm more than happy to share some general ideas around this as well. But yeah, that's pretty much where we're at, why we're doing, and it's what I've been doing for the last however long now. And it's only getting crazier. And yeah, it's great. It's fantastic. It's constantly learning with this cool stuff, changing our mindsets to be like a coding mindset, becoming developers in a sense. Yeah, so that's where we're at. And yeah, I'm looking to making more videos around all of this stuff, so stay tuned. If you're keen to check out just some write-ups I do, I've been doing some blogs. I started up my blog. You can find that at techdocs.nz. I'll leave a link in the description. And then yeah, I'll see you in the next video about more specific cloud ops, cloud engineering, cloud whatever stuff. So yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Cheers, bye.